Hey, kindergarten friends, it's Mrs. McCoy, and today I'm going to be sharing our Read Aloud story. Now, if I asked you to tell me what do we call the person who makes decisions for our country and speaks for our country, would you have a guess? Now, if you said the President of the United States of America, you would be right. Now, today's story is going to tell us a little bit more about the job of the president. But before we get started, we need to talk about a couple of things. First, our story today is something called an informational text. Can you say that with me? Informational text. An informational text is really just a story that's about real people or animals, places, or events. The other thing we need to know are two new vocabulary words. The first is the word qualities. A quality is something that makes a person or thing what it is. So an apple could be red. Miss Davis is nice. Red and nice are examples of qualities. The other word we need to know is military. And military is just the fighting forces. So that includes our Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Well, our story today is called Leaders Needed by Anthony Kobayashi. Wherever you go, groups of people are usually all around. All groups need leaders to help them know what to do and how. Your family has at least one leader, your parent, aunt, uncle, or maybe your grandparent. Your class has a leader, the teacher. Your school also has a leader, the principal. We are all part of one large group, the United States of America. Our country or nation has many groups within it, as well as many leaders. Together, the leaders of our nation make up its government. Let's talk about one of our country's leaders, the president. We have many national leaders, but the president is probably the one you have heard about the most. Becoming president is difficult to do. Every 4 years, the people of the United States choose a new president in an election. Sometimes the people choose the same president twice in a row. That's 8 years total, which is even older than you are. After that, though, someone else must become president. Our nation has had more than 40 presidents. Anyone who wants to be president must be at least 35 years old. Are the adults in your family old enough to be president? The president must be born in the United States. He or she must have lived here for at least 14 years as well. Those are the only qualities the president must have, according to our nation's rules. The American people also look for many other qualities in a candidate or person who wants to be president. First, a candidate must be a good leader. Usually, that person will have been another kind of government leader already. He or she might have run a large city or a state, or the presidential candidate might have been a lawmaker. Not only do the American people want a leader for president, but they also want a president who works hard. The president works every day of the week, all year long. If the president is needed in the middle of the night, he or she must get up and work. The president may travel or take vacation, but he or she is never off duty. If something happens, the president must go to work. This is a part of a leader's job. In addition, a candidate must be a good speaker because the president gives many speeches. He or she will meet new people all over the world, so the president must be friendly. Because he or she will work with many different people to do everything that needs to be done, the candidate must be able to get along with people. The president leads the military forces that protect our country. So the American people also want someone who is brave. Because there are many, many laws to follow and rules to remember, the president must read well and study well. Anyone who wants to be president must also be willing to stick to their goals because many people will have their own ideas that they want the president to follow. Once the president begins a term or time, he or she cannot do just anything. The president must follow the rules and laws of the United States, just like everyone else. Part of the job means working with other government leaders, called Congress, to do what is best for the people in our country. The president and Congress do not agree on everything. Sometimes they disagree strongly and publicly. They must talk about their disagreements. Each side must listen to what the other side has to say. They must find ways to agree. Sometimes they make compromises. In a compromise, each side gives up part of what they want in order to reach an agreement. Like the rules we follow in kindergarten, the president and Congress must share. They must be patient and get along with others. They must think about everyone and decide what is best for our country. Good leaders are important to our nation. Well, I don't know about you, but it sure does sound like our two rules here at school of loving God and loving others would be good qualities for our leader or our president to have. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed our story today about leaders and learning a little bit more about the role of the president.